Well, the first time I uploaded this video, the sound got all screwed up. Kino screwed up the sound, so... Can you tell which one I think is trying to escape? So it's like a Sesame Street thing. Which of these ones is trying to escape? It's hard to tell. They look like paper bags blowing in the wind. Don't they just look like paper bags? A lot like things being, you know, totally not living. I mean, come on. Okay, so upper right, lower left, we got them just feeding. You can kind of see the little, if you know where to look, I think it's in the side, their little, the mouth hole and stuff. They're eating some algae. And that little one, they're in a tiny little, I think, class 2, which some studies show they're quicker and quicker getting out of, because they're little creatures. You know, now, how much do they feel and how much? Well, let me tell you one thing as far as living and dying. If they don't get poisoned or starve, they'll live forever, and many of them have lived for quite a long time. If they have sex, that's right, you can Google on YouTube, paramecia conjugating, they share genes, they hook up to each other and share genes and swim around, and guess what? They look like they are having an ecstasy at that moment too. And you can be all you want, like, well, they look like they're looking at, look in the upper left. I don't know what those little creatures are, but they're creatures. Look at them. Some of them are sitting there, some of them shooting. Do you think that's the current? Some of them are just sitting there, other ones are just shooting around. It's obviously not the current. Oh, it's the sugar potential. Oh, it's the... No, if it was the environment, they would be swarming around in different things. It's the environment plus their own state of mind, and some of them are just like looking around. Other ones are like shooting around doing things. And the paramecia are the big ones up there. So anyway, okay, it's gonna start moving again, and I want you to look. Okay, I want you to. It's supposed to start moving. Okay. See, those are like little worms. Now, I'm not saying it, please don't go, well, that's not a human being using a remote control watching CNN. You know, no, that's not an arbitrary kind of consciousness very specific to a human being. No, but it's as much as a little worm. That thing's all slammed in that space, and it's like, it wants out. And it's looking for a way out. And even if you want to say, no, it doesn't want out, it's definitely computationally being programmed to, it's running a get the out of here algorithm, right? That part, you understand what I'm saying, right? It's like, it is running it. Now, that's all we do as well. So, the other thing I want to point out, I might as well do now, is that with the neurons, you have neurons connected, and this supposedly generates consciousness, and you know, only we have the special kind of neurons to do it, being the theory. Another way of putting my point about the chemical version of the dendrites is, let's say you take the neuron, and you realize that, what is that dendrite? The dendrite is a connection way out to an axon, sometimes another dendrite, which gets its signal from an axon ultimately. So the axon is triggered how? Well, in one of the nerve cells, there's a chemical beginning to that process. A chemical, just like a normal cell receives, triggers that. So just like a normal cell will emit a chemical, instead of that, the chemical is put into the axon starts a firing sequence. And the fact that that chemical hit a receptor is transmitted electrically. And instead of the chemical having to go slowly through a vascular system to the other cell, the electrical current carries that information the chemical would have carried. And it fires in a way that signals this chemical. So it's all chemical. So these things are all chemical, and they have the necessary information technology.